For the record, Your Honor, this video may contain opinions and speculations. Everything discussed has been reported in media and print. Please be advised this video is for educational or entertainment purposes. Always do your own research to make and come to your own conclusions. Now let's proceed. The 5150 hold of social media star Eugenia Cooney. The hard truth about her return. Back in 2019, social media star Eugenia Cooney had disappeared from platforms and was said to be taking time for herself and her health, where she had said she was to be working with her doctor. As time has gone on during her online career, many in her community had speculated many concerns over her low weight and disorder. Trigger warning. We will be diving in and discussing some concerning topics and may cause some to become upset or worried for themselves, the social media creator, and or loved ones suffering with disorders like anorexia, bulimia, and or body dysmorphia. This video is not intended to encourage anyone in any way towards influencing any mean comments or any hate in anyone's direction. Please do not go searching to attack anyone discussed in this video. And if you would like to leave thoughts and comments down below, sure. But please, please, please be kind and understanding. Remember, she is a human being. She has a heart and has feelings just like you and me. She reappeared in July of that year in a long documentary posted and created by Shane Dawson. After some time to calm down the controversy, her channel seemed to go back to normal with her beauty tutorials, Q&As, and mini fashion shows. Eventually, she found herself on therapist YouTuber Katie Morton's channel talking about what it is like to be placed in a 5150, which is a 72-hour psychiatric hold by her at the time, friends. It does seem that Eugenia, even when her comments were flooded with concern over her own body, it made it much harder for her to seek help and reach out to someone she could trust. It's still hard to see things the way other people do sometimes, she had said, adding it's hard to admit that to yourself. When the discussion came to her mother, she had told the therapist that her mom had definitely spoken to her with concern, but Eugenia would tell her mom that she was fine, and that would be that. You can't force anyone into treatment because you can't make them get better, said Morton, when explaining her view on the whole topic, and said it's because at the end of the day, you're the one that has to do the work and who has to be there. Now, one day with a newly blossomed friendship, Eugenia was invited to go to an escape room, but it wasn't the challenge that she was expecting to attend. Instead, she was ambushed. Soon as they met up, they had become somehow dived into a conversation, and in the moment where they sat her down, they started bringing up concerns and thoughts and tried to have Eugenia open up more. Eugenia claims she told them she was actually thinking about reaching out for help. Then all of a sudden, two other women appeared that she never met before. Some areas and states have a team called PET, Psychiatric Emergency Teams, who operate with special hospital programs to initiate 5150 holds and evaluations in connection with the Department of Health in their local city or state. If you have subscribed and followed me along with other stories and cases, you already know and understand probably what exactly a 5150 hold is. For example, Los Angeles has this type of situation regulated and happens actually often. Like Britney Spears, Kanye West, they have many people that are famous even that had been put into this type of situation involuntarily. The online therapist continued to explain that the hold was for someone being temporarily committed to a facility because of their signs of mental illness, where it's heightened and believed to be danger to themselves or others in society. In Eugenia's case, the team put restraints around her arms and carried away in a stretcher. Can you imagine? The small, frail young lady, shy and pleasant, and they put her through that publicly, as she is a known public figure. I'm sure she was scared and embarrassed. I can understand these women's concerns, but this is not the way to handle this delicate situation. Morton continued to lay out the information for viewers, saying how a 5150 situation in some cities and areas are tough, where they take you to a hospital and special unit rather than an actual eating disorder rehabilitation center. For example, in Los Angeles, there aren't many psych wards, so they are overrun and flooded with people with all sorts of severe mental health conditions and problems, and it's just all jumbled up and mixed in together. That's never good. Never comfortable for everyone either. So this becomes incredibly unnerving and scary for someone if they have been restrained against their own will with no choice to get out. Eugenia had responded saying, once you get there, it's a very scary situation because you see crazy things going on. There was a bunch of people screaming. There was one guy who was telling me how he had just got out of the county jail. And to make things even more uncomfortable and worrisome, Eugenia had spoken of the conditions she was subjected to, where she had mentioned that the beds were rock hard and the phone was taken away, and some patients were banging their heads on walls and objects around her. She even said one person that was close to her was still saying how they were fixated on thinking about hitting and pinning people with their car. Sometimes placing someone in a fast-changing environment situation, especially without their knowledge or consent, so they're not prepared in any way, can do more harm and damage. As this all went down out of her home state, she was released from the hold and flew back home to her mom in Connecticut and entered an eating disorder treatment program as recommended by her doctors, which does make some sense. Unfortunately, she already has been forced involuntarily into the system and program, and at this point, she has already been in a state of shock that she might as well continue to battle the issue as it already been majorly disrupted. Not long after Shane Dawson's video had been posted, the YouTuber Jacqueline Glenn, who was one of the so-called friends that had led up to the escape room ordeal, alongside others, claimed in a video that the 5150 was the only option because they had tried to speak to Eugenia about her issues multiple times. They also alleged she was in harm's way because she was in a harmful situation at home with her mother. The YouTuber went on to bash Shane Dawson's video and return of the social star, saying that it made her sick as it claims to paint a story that was misleading and not what the group's intentions were. Shane himself had gone through hopelessness and negative self-thoughts with his own health and body journeys, and had been assumed that Eugenia might feel comfortable opening up to him in hopes and trust that he wouldn't be judging her. So they kind of spoke about meeting up and possibly working on content together regarding this topic. It has been very well known to the public on and off air live streams. She has experienced people with mean usernames and sometimes FaceTimes where people intentionally and unintentionally say things that make the moment awkward or hurtful, but she seems to handle it always with kindness and a smile. Shane was openly nervous as he actually genuinely seemed to care about this person and the story, as well as it may help others who are scared to talk about this type of stuff. He wanted to do it right. In her own words, she opened up to Shane. She seemed like she was not comfortable with labeling it directly, but she acknowledged it was an eating disorder. Shane started to explain what he went through, and you could see it in her eyes. She was becoming aware that she is actually really not alone, and there are others. Her eyes were seemingly tearing up. Eugenia had explained that it felt like a boot camp, and it was very scheduled. They weigh you, but they don't tell you the number on the scale. Meanwhile, they also watch you while you eat and do observations. Even when you're in the bathroom, someone is at the door pretty much monitoring. Slowly, they increase your intake of a food plan where you have the main balanced 3 meals, but snacks in between. When she moved to LA, she said she stopped weighing herself, and when she did, she actually noticed how it was shockingly lower than it had ever been, and did start to wonder and seemed to be concerned. Shane respectfully spoke with her in a calm, soft manner and asked her some really hard questions, where she honestly answered with some details, where she says she's been lucky that she has strong, healthy, long hair and no teeth damage. Shane questioned her energy, and Eugenia had explained how it is hard to find the balance, as if you rush too much, like with intake too fast or too soon, wean off nutrition IVs or any feeding tubes, that is known for people in her situation that it could all backfire and cause a heart attack and other issues. So she seemed very aware of the risks at that time. Shane did joke with her, and she was joking back lightly, which shocked me when she was saying it was still weird to talk about it fully on a vlog or live stream, and then people would be asking things like, when will you be willing to do a mukbang? Like, oh my God. Luckily, she was the one that brought that up, and she made it seem like she was genuinely thinking it was funny. But instantly, she went deep into how it bothers her that she wants people to know that, you know, there's more to life than this. There's more to just her on-screen personality and her looks and appearance. Soon as he asked her about some things she loves, you see her come to life, smiling and talking about makeup and fashion. As they begin to play with the colors and styles, you start to see the most beautiful look of all natural, while Eugenia is having a good time in the bathroom mirror laughing with Shane and coloring their eyelids with this amazing turquoise blue eyeshadow. It actually seemed really heartwarming to see some behind-the-scenes footage mixed in with the doc, as she seems to genuinely love the company and friendship she was experiencing in the moment with Shane Dawson. So, you know, so bad watching this. I wish I could just reach in and give her a hug. She's so adorable and so sweet. So many people in this world deserve better than what they have experienced in their life or continue to battle with. This is why no matter what, we should try, always really try our best to be our best. And just be kind. You don't know what someone is living or dealing with behind the scenes. Now, this documentary came out about 4 years ago. It seems that history might be repeating itself again. And that is why Jeffree Star actually decided to reach out to her and have her stay with him for a bit, as we discussed in my other video introducing y'all to Eugenia. Even though there is no solid proof of these allegations of her at-home life with her family, many viewers and subscribers believe similar worries. And when it comes to a healing process, people tend to forget it is up to the person in the battle to tell their story which way they see it. It is their right, and it's their true feelings, a reflection of that. Even if it comes off to the point with details that may be stretched or thinned out, it is how the person felt in the moment and how they view what happened. That is what matters most, because if you say there was progress, but in Eugenia's memory and thoughts there wasn't, then there really wasn't. Nothing else matters or counts, because the patient will continue to battle the way they feel, not what others see or think. I will say, for my own personal view, in the actual interview footage with Katie Morton, which I will link down below for you to see for yourself, Eugenia is still a shy, bubbly, kind young woman, but she speaks more clearly mentally and physically, and of course, she looks more healthy than before the stint in rehab. But just like I said before, she herself has to want and see that for it to continue to get stronger and become more routine. It's extremely hard for professionals, family, and friends to assist, because you want your friend who is struggling to feel comfortable and trust, but you want them to know that their thoughts and feelings are validated. But you need to approach every detail gently and not give off overexpressed feelings and avenues, as you don't want to scare them off or overhype them, as any angle can traumatize them in their recovery. On the other side of the story was the return of Eugenia Cooney, the real, true story, full story, posted by Jacqueline Glenn herself. Now, that was the title, so that's not my words, that channel's. That was the apparent friend who called in the Hold on Eugenia. Below, I also added that link to this video so you could watch and come to your own conclusions with both sides of the fence. The video is very uncomfortable right off the bat, as you see one person is crying, another nervously shaking, having trouble explaining and speaking on the whole topic, claiming there is someone pulling the puppet strings behind it all. They admitted that there were times they themselves had been the people to call in for wellness checks, and said when the police would arrive, the family would say a scripted response to avoid any more deep concern and questioning and turn them away. So I do ask you guys to check out the links below, check out the videos, and tell me in the comments what you gather from all of this. And if you or someone you love has an eating disorder, either eating not enough or too much, and they are struggling in any sort of way and looking for help, please call the National Eating Disorders Association hotline at 1-800-931-2237. You are not alone in this fight. Find a place or situation where you feel comfortable enough to speak out in peace and no distractions, and go ahead and give them that call. I will also link all the sources down below for you as well. I'm Leenda, and that's For the Record, Your Honor.